everybody to the show. I am Stacy Brown Jr., and I'm joined tonight with my buddy, partner in crime, Mr. Bill Brock. What's up, bud?
What's going on, brother? How many drugs were you on when you made that opening? Like that thing is crazy, dude.
Oh, wouldn't you like to know?
That was awesome, though. That was cool.
I do have my tobacco blends that I like to smoke, you know.
Oh yeah, yeah. I've heard about those once or twice.
They're pretty good.
No,
Um,
yeah.
they tend to calm me down and at the same time expand my mind.
Expand your creativity.
Yeah, it kind of shuts your eyes to this world,
Yeah.
but it most definitely opens it up to the rest.
Totally opens it up to feeling wallpaper in haunted locations.
Hey, wherever it takes you, the whole ride is just super fun.
uh,
Yeah, man. So what have you been up to since the madness that we experienced at the Lizzie Borden house?
man, it's been nuts. I basically have been just working, man. Like I got back and I have a little production company, I guess you can call it. So uh, it's starting to get busy. We're starting to pick up with production stuff, which is awesome because man, for like months now, we haven't been able to do anything. We've been pretty much locked down with the whole production thing, and you've experienced it, man. We went down to the Lizzie Borden thing, and we did our little shoot there, and you know the fear of COVID is real, man. It's out there. So it's been good to see people are taking good precautions when it comes to that, and then also starting to open back up and get back into the production world, And so, anyway, I've been trying to work, man, and it was cool. We actually did a shoot yesterday with the Boston Bruins, a couple guys, and
Jealous.
basically went out and did some golfing or whatever. It was cool.
Right on. Yeah, man. The fear is real in some parts of the country. Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
definitely up there. And so, kind of when I was with everybody, all the people were coming in the house, and I'm like, "Oh, well, hey, have they been tested?" Like, I was worried about it, but like, I get back here, and I drove through Florida State campus, dude. The pool parties these people are having, thousands and thousands of kids, no masks. I went and I filmed a football game in Franklin County, and they had 1,250 max they were letting in. Okay, and you had to wear your mask in there. So they all wore their mask in there. I'll give them that. That was
Wow.
about the extent of it because I was coming down out of the booth and nobody had their masks on, and I was like, I guess it's just different parts of the world because these people down here they just live in life. You know what I mean? And people
Yeah,
up
yeah,
here, it's a little different. So you'll see it when you come down here.
yeah, yeah. I mean,
It's more
it's even
rational.
different. It's even different in different parts of Maine. Like here in Maine, people in the southern Maine region tend to wear masks all the time, and then you get into northern Maine, and they're just like, "Fuck, I don't give a damn," Like it
Yeah,
ain't even
yeah,
real, you know.
yeah. Hey, there's a lot of that. And I mean, our schools are open back up down here, but they seem to be handling everything fine. You know, there's just not this general fear so much here as there is in other parts of the country because I don't know. I guess that's just a cultural difference, in the people.
Yeah, because Republicans can't get COVID.
Hey,
It's just one of those things. They just
yeah,
can't get it.
nah,
No.
they're drinking the dirty water anyway. Um,
Yeah.
but hey, so the live stream, man. Like I know we touched on it before, but looking back on it, and you were running the majority of this. I was more or less along for the ride, helping out. I mean, I knew I had a basic grasp, but nothing like you did. So
Dude, before you go too much further, I could not have done anything that I did without your help. Like for real. Like if you wouldn't have been there, it'd have been hell. And so, I appreciate everything you did. I don't want you to sell yourself short because you did a lot, man. You you basically did exactly what I did, and it took a team. It took a literal team to do what we did, man.
It did, you know, but it was just at the same time, you were a lot. I guess you're a lot more in control of it. You know what I mean? Because you
Yeah.
knew it. You knew how it was all going on. So it was amazing to watch, dude, because that was such a headache.
Yeah, it's probably the biggest headache, but it's all right though. We made it.
So did you get a final number on how many people were watching?
No, dude. So yeah, this is my second time doing this. The first time we worked out of the Conjuring House, and that time because Corey and Jen were so invested because it was their house. It was the first time they ever done anything like this. So we constantly were back and forth with Jay and Kathleen about how many sales we did and all that. And it felt stressful the whole time. It was like I I didn't want to feel that again. Like I didn't want to feel like this pressure of needing to like constantly know how we were doing. I wanted to focus on what we were doing and trying to like I don't know, dude. I think we tried to create art, the way we had the interview stuff set up, the way we tried to like make each shot look good as well as like play out nicely. I was more worried about that than how many numbers we did. But, with that said, I am curious and I haven't said anything the last few days to those guys because I've been busy, like I've just been trying to get back on my feet and stuff. So no, I don't know how many people watch, but man, I'd love to know.
Yeah, just so like for reference, how many people were watching? How many people were depending on that live stream that more or less you were making sure was there. At the beginning
Yeah.
of that, I didn't really understand a whole lot the way they were doing it because I do live streaming here and like football games and stuff, and it just works completely different. Their their whole setups. That's the problem with the live streaming thing right now is there's so many different ways to do it. Unless you stick with the same way repeatedly, like what I'm doing is bouncing in and out of other different setups. I'm having to relearn every time. It's really hard to kind of get a footing, and get running out the damn door.
Yeah, and it's not always us that has to like to do that. Like so with what we did with the Conjuring House and then also with the Lizzie Borden thing is we went through a streaming agency. So like we basically sent our signal to a place that without getting deep into it, they basically put it online. And
Right.
so everything between here and that company that's putting it online can go wrong, and everything that could have gone wrong did go wrong. And so those things change basically every time we do this. The first time we had a different streaming company than the second time, so we didn't know what kind of challenges we would have this time around. Luckily, we used a company called Endavo. Dude, they were fantastic. I mean, you had to have seen me on the line, the tech guys constantly trying to figure this shit out. And without them, we'd have been a mess. But this company was awesome. They were there for us and helped us get everything going. But yeah, those challenges that you're talking about change basically every time we get to a new location. I don't know if we're going to be part of the next live feed that they're doing, but they're going to be going to the Queen Mary. And that, dude, that's going to be a challenge beyond all challenges. I don't know why they decided to pick the hardest place on the planet to stream from, but they did. It's going to be like streaming out of a tuna can out in the middle of the ocean. I mean, it's going to be probably the most challenging thing a streaming company could ever do. It's going to be nuts, man.
It's there's going to be a whole lot of cable run. Is the only thing I can figure because you can't really, especially once it gets down below the deck and stuff, down like the boiler room and other areas. I don't know all where you would go and look or have your camera set up, but you're not going to have no service down there. You're not going to be able to do it unless you've got like you're bouncing off of this router to that router or whatever.
Yeah, I mean we've kind of faced that challenge once at the SK Pierce Mansion. Anyone who watched our live feed knows that we had some issues, but we were able to make it work. What no one actually knows is when we got there, we couldn't use our cell phones or the internet there. We had to go get Wi-Fi extenders and just place them through the house. Like that was the only way we could do it. We literally had to drop $300 right before we started and go buy Wi-Fi extenders. So that's one of the options they're going to have when they do the Queen Mary is basically set up Wi-Fi extenders through the ship to make these lines of communication basically. And then they're going to be forced to stay within those lines if they don't hardwire the entire ship. And dude, it's just a daunting task. I don't know how they're going to do it.
If it was me, I'd hardwire the whole ship.
Oh yeah,
It's the only way you're gonna get a constant feed, you know.
yeah.
But I don't see them doing that for some reason.
Well, even if they hardwired the whole ship, man, like they're still going to have issues. So like if they hardwire the whole ship, they're going to get the static cams back to the encoders. But at that point, you have to send all that information individually out to Endavo. So that's still going to be 6 streams that we have to send out of the house minimum. And then we also have to send the show stream, and that's 5 streams. So if it were me, I would put on site a switcher to actually switch them on site. So you're down to 2 streams, which would be the show stream and a switched stream. That maybe people won't be able to choose I don't know. It would be tough because then you would lose the ability to have people choose which room they wanted to see. So just thinking about it right now, it's going to be challenging, man. It's going to be probably the toughest thing that's been done live, maybe ever.
Oh yeah, I could I could see that at least. I don't even know that would just like from a technical standpoint, why would you even want to, go enjoy Halloween?
I have no idea. There are so many other places on the planet that we could go that have Wi-Fi,
Right.
So it would have been so much easier just to pick some place that was like more set up for this. But I'm sure that it's going to work out. It's just going to be really tough.
Right. Yeah, they'll end up getting it, one way or another, because it can be done. It's
Yeah.
just gonna be a little kicking and screaming little bitch until it is done. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, man. It would take like thousands of milligrams of Adderall for me to be able to complete that job. It would be tough.
Those hybrid coffees that you were making. Uh,
Those were prescribed, by the way. Those were
yes, they
definitely
were.
prescribed. Yeah.
Somebody. But yeah, they it was funny because like I remember the day before we were good at the Lizzie house. And then like when it became showtime, we were no longer good for whatever reason. Do you remember
No.
the scramble? Because I remember at the first night we didn't have many cams up. They just all went out.
Yeah, that was really crazy. So I don't know. I don't want to make this sound like I'm blaming anyone because I don't think there is anyone really to blame because we basically just booked the house the only time that we could book the house. And so because of that, we ended up having a group of people there the night before we were supposed to go live. And so what that meant is we could not actually put our cameras up and test our cameras and make sure everything was working the night before because these guests were here. So we were forced to actually I tested everything on the bench in front of me, like you were there,
Right. Yeah.
Like I put every one of the encoders into the switch, tested all of them with the RTMP that they gave me and all this good stuff. So anyway, all of our shit was working. And the next day we run the cords, we set the cameras up, we plug them all back in. They should have worked, but they didn't work, And so I don't know what happened really, and I don't think Endavo really does either. But I personally think that it was an issue with their DVR. So like what was going on is Endavo was basically recording each one of the feeds so they could be put up later so people could go back and watch. And so I think what happened is there was an issue with the way the DVR communicates, maybe whatever it was. I think that's what it was. I think it was on their end. But regardless, we got it fixed, and it took us a day. It took us a day to get that fixed. And again, that was because we weren't able to set our gear up. We literally had 4 hours the morning of to go
Right.
in and set everything up and get it working. So, when you look at that as a whole, having 4 hours to completely wire and rig that house and then make it all work is fucking tough, man. Like that was
Oh, hey,
crazy.
like the sleep deprivation. You know what I mean? Because it was a constant thing. We're constantly having to get up to do something, even though the broadcast is starting at 12 every day. We still had to be up with a few hours there to actually do shit, get stuff ready. When you would think, hey, it's ready from the day before. Nah, hey, we got a whole new list of problems today. You know, but technical stuff's boring, I guess.
Yeah.
Uh, so let me ask you: do you actually think the place is haunted?
My thought immediately goes to Maplecroft. Like I can't even. It's like it's almost like the Lizzie Borden house doesn't exist in my brain anymore. It's like
Right.
the Maplecroft house had such an impact in just the couple of days that we spent there that I personally just don't even like. I don't even think about the Lizzie Borden house. The Maplecroft house is there's something up with that, dude. There's something up with Maplecroft. I don't know if it's because like it hasn't been investigated a bunch of times. I don't know what it is, but dude, there's something there. We didn't experience it. I did not experience anything in the Lizzie Borden house. You did, but like, yeah. At the end of the day, the Maplecroft house is the one for me that like stands out, and I can say is haunted.
You know that what happened in the basement? I don't know. Like I became so confused, you know. But besides that, there was nothing that ever went on really at the Lizzie house that couldn't have been explained away with like the floorboards or something like that. But the Maplecroft was honestly the most haunted place I've been to. And you figure in the like the 6 7 months that I've been doing this, I've been to some
6 or 7 months.
wild. Well, I mean, like I ain't always been into ghost hunting, uh, but
you're a seasoned pro now, dude. Like you're
I've
an
been
old timer.
everywhere almost.
Yeah, it's true, man. You've honestly like been to probably more locations than most ghost hunters that have been doing this for years. Like we killed it over the last month and a half,
Well,
dude.
not to mention when we went, the time before, when I was with you and Corey, that was my first. I was getting Corey Heinzen to break me into the paranormal.
Right.
Who better?
Who's better?
You know what I mean? Like that dude knows everything, and so I'm just digging up information, and then all of a sudden here's Carl Johnson, and he's got a whole other world of shit that's interesting me. So I'm like, I can't focus. I'm turning around in circles.
You got witches and like Satan worshippers and all kinds of shit coming at you,
Yeah, dude, and
man.
so the interest peaked kind of quick. I can't say 6 months. It's been probably a little bit over a year, but either way, Maplecroft, hands down. I was still borderline that what none of this a real big thing, but Maplecroft, that place is actually haunted, and energies can actually affect our reality
So
physically.
I know why I think that Maplecroft is haunted. Why do you think Maplecroft is haunted?
You know, everybody always says, "Oh, I get this feeling when I go into the place." Well, I didn't get that feeling. I felt good sleeping in Lizbeth's bed. I was good, and I actually had a worse feeling going to sleep in the kids' room over at the bed and breakfast. Okay, if it was to be a feeling thing, I was like, why in the hell am I up on the third floor by myself right now? That was my thought when I was going to sleep. So over there though, like 5:27 in the morning, dude, there was this loud slam in between those parlor doors, right? And it sounded like somebody jumped up real quick and slammed down on the ground. And so I sit up, my REM pod's going off. Woo! And then it gets strong. Wee! like somebody's grabbing the antenna. And then so I reach over and cut it off and then cut it back on. Well, it starts right back up again. I'm thinking maybe something's wrong with the battery. Battery's going dead, because it'll kind of act like that when the battery's going dead. I turned the damn thing back off like 2 or 3 times and went back to sleep, right? Closed my eyes, and it felt like somebody just shook the whole damn bed. Boom! And I come up and I was like, Lisbeth, go to sleep. I'm trying to sleep. Not now, or something like that. I screamed. I remember hollering at it. And then I went back to sleep. And then I wake up with you coming in the room. And you're like, hey, bro, I just seen a shadow go from here to there. And I'm like, dude, you ain't going to believe what the fuck just happened to me.
Yeah.
And that was the start of it. That made me want to go back. I wanted to go back so bad that I climbed through the freezer chute when somebody locked us out of the damn house.
Yeah, that happened, bro.
The little ice box.
Yeah, we got locked out.
That was bad. Like, if she wouldn't have, she's like, hey, you could go through here. And I'm like, damn, I'm 36 now.
Right. I don't know if I can do
spring
that.
chicken anymore.
Right. But yeah, man, that what you're talking about, that event where you had all that stuff happen, pretty much, it was about the same time that I heard what I thought was like voices. Like I was basically taking a shower about the time that you had this experience. So like I come out of the shower and turn right to go down the hall towards our rooms, and as I come around the corner, I'm sure that you and Susan are talking, because I hear two people talking just like we're talking right now. And I come around the corner and dude, there wasn't anybody there. And I'm just kind of like, what? And then I see this shadow go in between the door frame of the room that JW was sleeping in. And dude, it was crazy. Like I dove into the room, looked around thinking that JW might have been in there or something. Wasn't anybody there. And then that's when I went across the hall and woke you up. But yeah, that was pretty crazy. That was the first night we were there, wasn't it? Like the first night we were.
That was the first night we stayed at Maplecroft. Yep.
Yeah.
Which was, the broadcast was the next day.
Yeah, that's right.
So then we go back, and when we went back to Maplecroft with Jerry, I kept seeing, like, Sue was there, and then you had Susan doing the Estes method and Jerry over here asking questions. And I got the camera, and I'm sitting in that chair, and I'm just, just holding it still, filming. And I'm looking up there at her, and there's a shadow keeps coming by. But it's not going back. It's not like coming in and going back. And I'm seeing it in this mirror, and it's just going one way. And I end up staring at it, like to see if I'm seeing shit. And she's like, what's behind me? And I was like, oh, well, yeah, hey, there's this shadow back there. And so me and Jerry try to figure out where it was coming from. Because he looked for it, and then he turned around to talk to me, and then I seen it again. I was like, hey, bro, for real. Like, so he ends up figuring out it was in that little closet. And he went in that closet, and the dude just come out, and he was like, oh my God, blah, blah, blah. And his hair on his arm was standing up, dude. And that whole experience there that evening was pretty amazing.
Yeah, definitely. And they had a really cool like marathon Estes method with Susan. And dude, I started getting a little bit worried about Susan when she was under. Like normally, like I don't know, we don't really keep people under in an Estes method for too long. It's kind of hard on your brain, like you've done it. Like you have this crazy static coming in your brain. You're trying to focus on what's going on. It's weird. It's kind of intense, and you end up like almost feeling like you're in a trance or something, dude. It's weird. I don't even know how to explain it. But anyway, I saw this in Susan, man. She started looking like she was in a straight up trance. Did you see her when she was like that?
Yeah, you can see it. It started to look like it had taken its toll.
Yeah, it looked like her brain was done. Like,
yeah, because that's almost what it feels like, and it's just like chop it in your brain till there ain't nothing but mush there, man. Because you stay under so long, you're hearing and then the occasional voice. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but like my brain goes all over the fucking place when that shit's going on, dude.
Right,
I'm
right.
like, oh, you know.
Yeah, yeah. And our sessions, when we did our own little investigation, we were able to like rig up our audio so people at home could hear what the box was saying. I think that's the coolest way to like put the STU's method out there. That way you can there's so many checks and balances at that point, because the person that answering the questions doesn't see or hear the person asking the questions. And then also you have the people at home that can be listening to what they're hearing and either like add to what that person is experiencing, or at very least confirm what that person's experiencing. So I think that like that method is probably one of the coolest things you can do and right now in the paranormal is sharing that experience with people watching at home live, because they have so much more to like add to the investigation once you can put them in there, you know what I mean?
Right, right. And like I'm not the best at picking up all the words, but when the audience is hearing what you're listening to, now you've got this many other people checking, what's being said, and they'll pick up words that you don't,
Yeah.
as we've seen last time.
I'm not saying this is how it works or anything, because I don't know how any of this shit works, but like using something like this, like ghost box with the Estes method is essentially like using a Ouija board, man. You're opening up a channel to something else. So like no matter if you're using a spirit box, a Ouija board, a pendulum, like whatever you're using, it's the same kind of thing. It's the same, you're opening up the same channel. So I've always kind of wondered, by spreading this out, like sharing all this with all of these people, I wonder if it helps with the energy of everything, and you have this collective thought or collective group of people focused on the same thing. I wonder if it actually helps us as investigators get better results.
Uh, you know, the one thing I just my mind just went somewhere else as you talk about that,
No
but
worries.
like when we were doing the Ouija board, uh, we heard our own voice out of that direct link.
Yes.
How in the fuck did that happen?
No clue, man. No idea.
Like it was us.
Oh yeah, yeah. You know what's cool, man? It's like people can actually go back and watch this shit on the Dark Zones website. So if you want to actually go watch this, I think it's $5 to watch everything over again for people who didn't buy a ticket. But if you did buy a ticket, it's free to go watch all this again. So you can go watch what Stacy was just talking about, man. Like there was a section of time there that like I was tripping out. We heard what sounded like our voice. Was it? I don't think it was my voice. I think it was you and Susan that came
Yeah,
through.
we were doing the Ouija board. We were doing
Yeah.
the seance, and JW was there with his direct link. Now, his direct link, from what I understand, has a microphone, right?
Yeah, but it doesn't go into the board to like record things. So like there are some spirit boxes out there that will take your voice, change your voice around a little bit and spit it back out at you. And most of those are apps.
Right.
Most of those are like things you use on your cell phone. But his doesn't do that. His does have a microphone, but it doesn't record and spit it back out at you.
Fucking gnat in the house.
Paranormal, bro.
That's what I was. It's an orb.
Yeah, it's an orb.
Yeah. So that's what I was wondering. Is like, from what I understand, his microphone in the direct link is just so that when you're asking the questions, they're able to hear it through the same device or medium, whatever you want to call it, that they're contacting us through.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I do know that he uses a microphone that's the same as like the DR60 in order to like get like live EVP sessions out of those
Is that
boxes.
what
But
that's for?
yeah, I don't think
Okay.
that it has any other purpose. I think it's just so he can do a live EVP, or you can hook it up to a recorder, which then basically turns his box into like a DR60, and if people aren't familiar with the DR60, check it out. It's a small recorder that people believe is like the best thing since sliced bread when it comes to EVPs. But there are also the other people out there that say that they're all these recorders, these DR60s, are absolute junk, because like what happened is the company even said that these sounds that people are getting is actually due to a faulty microphone, I believe it is, inside of the recorder. So the company came out and said that we screwed up. And so they changed the microphone or whatever it is that they did and made these recorders to where they don't get those responses anymore. People in the paranormal world, they took that and was like, oh, the company knows that, we can talk to ghosts through these fucking recorders. And so like, they're going to like make it to where we can't do it anymore. So like, there's this other conspiracy theory around the DR60 that, people either, I don't know, at the end of the day, hate it or love it. And it does have a story behind it, though.
Right. Yeah, it's just like the Bigfoot world, just like the UFO world, man. It's all
Right.
the same, dude. Like, no shit.
It is. There's the same drama in the Bigfoot world as
Oh.
the paranormal world. It's the same shit. It's just like changing your atmosphere. It's the same shit.
So why the hell did we decide to get involved in all three of them?
Because I think that we are one of the few that are just curious as fuck, man. Like, and we have real shit happen to us in all of these genres. Like the whole UFO thing. Like that thing trips me out. And you went and did the documentary Roswell 50 years later, dude. That was dope. And I did at basically the same time a documentary that's on Amazon as well.
You know
Abducted
what
New
I'd
England.
like to make that people just don't know about? Before Roswell, there was a UFO crash in Cape Girardeau, Missouri, by about 7 years, and now they report bodies and shit. Like,
Really?
I'd like to make a film on that. That was the original Roswell. It's right in Cape Girardeau.
Let's
So
do it, man. I didn't even know about this.
yeah, man. Yeah, I got some friends in Cape Girardeau when I made that film with Tom Green. That's where we filmed that. And so yeah, I'll see if they know anybody, because certainly there has to be somebody that heard a story from the granddaddy or like the local papers or something like that. But yeah, dude, Cape Girardeau, they had like bodies. I think there was like 3 or 4 bodies recovered.
Wow. Is it the same kind of story where like the government came in and scooped up the bodies and then tried to
Oh
hide
yeah,
it all?
shut the whole fucking town down. Did their whole scare tactic and all that deal, and then bounced out, kind of like Kecksburg. When the bell crashed down there, how the government just come in and told everybody, "Hey, man, y'all ain't seen nothing, cuz."
Dude, that trips me out now, because like the government came out and said that they have like spaceships from other places. So like,
So why would they do that?
I
Okay,
don't know.
do
I don't
they
know.
really have them, or is it a conspiracy?
Oh man, I don't know. Like I almost don't think they have shit, because like if they did have it, I feel like somebody be driving that shit around.
But
Like
Bob Lazar says they are. Says that we're testing, but they have to use like real small humans, like Jeff Gordon and Jimmy Johnson.
like Jeff Gordon.
Yeah, dude's like
Yeah,
fucking 5'2", bro.
that's funny. But
But
yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know how I feel about all that. Like I really think that if we had spaceships, President Trump would be pimping one. Because like how, like for real, like how would,
I would.
yeah, because like President Trump is President Trump, man. He
Yep.
rolls with some bling, and so like he would definitely have a gold spaceship with a big Trump thing on the back of it.
You're
If
damn right.
this
I'd
was
be like,
real.
oh yeah, I can't make that. I gotta go play golf on the moon, bitches, and ride out.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, so I don't know, man. Like I don't know if that's legit or not, but
I
we'll
don't
see.
understand why they would tell everybody that, hey, we have vehicles that are not made from this world or something like that. So is it aliens, or is it like interdimensional beings? To me, I feel there's a difference. Like an alien that lives on a planet like Mars
Right,
versus somebody that's going back Blue Catu or whatever
right.
the
Do you think
hell
it could
place
be
they're
just a
from.
power play, man? Like back when like Hitler and shit was around. He got really into the whole the alien thing because he wanted the power of of
Right.
them, so he could basically rule the planet. Do you think it could be like a power thing, so that like the United
Yeah.
States might have like this possible like, I don't know, super weapon or some shit. Like I don't know.
Well, it comes from the government, so I don't fucking believe it at all. I don't care what they say. Like, you only go lie to me so many times before I'm not gonna believe a damn word you say, and rightfully so. Like, anything that the government says needs to be looked at under a microscope, especially nowadays that we're knowing how corrupt these people are that are in office, that are in the FBI, CIA, and whoever else. A lot of people going to jail nowadays that are politicians, and so yeah, I don't believe damn word they say. So
No,
it's probably the exact opposite of whatever they tell you.
probably, probably
And
so.
that was what I came away with from Roswell, is that they told everybody it was aliens because they didn't want people to know that they were using kids with progeria, and then that they were also spraying gas all over everybody.
Yeah,
Because
dude, you had a really cool like theory about this Roswell thing. I remember you thought that like it was some kind of cover up for some shit that like went down beside of this area where like a bunch of people died or some shit.
well, up in the county that was north of there, for whatever reason, right now it escapes me. But the town that was north, Corona, New Mexico. Yeah, go
Corona.
fucking figure. Go figure
Yeah.
on that. But in Corona, New Mexico, everybody got sick, like bad sick after this crash. And if you look at that crater, it ain't no damn weather balloon, bro. Like, y'all can say what the hell you want, but don't tell me it's a weather balloon, because it ain't no weather balloon, you know? Uh, and then everybody getting sick. So you either like, when that thing crashed, a lot of bad chemicals or something got out, maybe into the water, most likely into the air, and went straight up into Corona. It made everybody sick, man. Everybody got really sick, and they've come out. I think they tried to blame it on what's that stuff that it goes is something wrong with the water. It was as a big issue back then. I can't remember right now, but they tried to blame it on something, but they could never prove it. And then it just kind of went away. But that was my theory. And so, like, if the government tells you anything, it's probably the exact opposite of what the real story is. So
Right. So you basically you're telling me that you think the real event happened in Corona, and why would they use the Roswell thing to cover that up, or like how do they connect?
well, see, so like they're in between each other, and nothing actually happened in Roswell. Okay, it happened out on Mac Brazel's ranch. So there was a few craters. So a few things crashed. Right. What is believed is that the ship skipped some
Oh,
60 odd miles or something, like you would skip a rock. Okay. I don't know if I buy that. Maybe. Hell. But anyways, when he found the debris, he went into Roswell, and so therefore it got Roswell's attention. If he went to Corona, he was about midway, and the wind had to blow one way, and it blew it right into Corona, and then a shit ton of people got sick.
gotcha. Wow.
Listeria, I think, is what they tried to blame it on, or something like that. They couldn't do it. I don't know why I'm forgetting the name. It's in tobacco blends.
Yeah, yeah. It'll fog your brain, son.
Yeah, but yeah, I think they came out and immediately said, because they're dealing with a hell. Do we tell everybody we're actually got these chemicals, because you got to figure they brought in Unit 731 from Japan. We also brought in the Nazi scientists. And Unit 731 was the Japanese scientists, and what they were doing to their own people made Hitler look like he wasn't jack shit. Like he was
Right.
an Antifa or something, like, because they were doing some real stuff to their own people. They were like boiling their skin off and shit.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and so we brought them over, of course, and had them continue their research. And I believe that's what happened. That
Right.
they had some chemical weapons, because chemical weapons had start getting some, into the world somehow. I think that was the main thing. And they accidentally crashed during the storm. Everybody got sick. And they're like, how are we going to cover this shit up? Oh, hey, tell them it's aliens. And then tomorrow we'll tell them it's not.
Right. Dude, while I'm thinking about it, what's up with this QAnon thing, man? I've been getting like a bunch of emails and texts, like literally people contacting me about like this QAnon shit. Like, I don't even know what it is. Is it like some alien stuff? Like, what is this?
All right. I'll break it down to you.
All right, break it down, bro.
I'll give you the Cliff Notes. Okay. Robert Kennedy is not dead.
What?
Maybe it's Robert Kennedy Jr. Anyways.
Is it
The one that
JFK?
Nope, he's dead.
Okay.
But one of the Kennedys died in a plane crash. Never found his body. His wife went with him. Okay. Anyways, this man's still alive. All right. He's good friends with Trump. Okay. And Trump has made some things, said some things, done some things that feed this conspiracy. And the conspiracy is that the world is run by an elite group of pedophiles who will go.
Why they got to be pedophiles, bro? Why can't they be like people who like pandas? Why they got to be fucking pedophiles,
I
man?
don't know, but they are. So they're oh, by the way, they're Satanists.
Satanists aren't pedophiles. I know a few.
These
They're
are
cool.
though. These are though. And they feed off of the adrenochrome from the children. So there's all these children missing in the world. This whole save the children thing. Everybody's talking about, oh, QAnon has ruined it. No, actually, QAnon. So from what I understand, because I've been following that shit for a minute. I read all this, so like conspiracy is my thing. So if it's happened, a flat Earth, all that shit, I'm into it. I ain't saying I buy it, but I read it.
Yeah.
So QAnon, he put out this whole little. It's all in like Reddit subgroups. You know what I mean? Like
Almost like black web shit, right?
Exactly. So they have this little decoder, a map. Basically, Barron Trump when. Okay, and so like there was a soccer ball given to President Trump from, I believe, Putin. Well, it was for Barron, the boy. Okay. Inside of it was all this information that they needed. Okay. Barron Trump's a little fucking genius, turns out. So everybody picking on him. That dude's like, we ain't on his level. Yeah. We ain't even on the level of that dude. And so he's like deciphering all this stuff of the deep state, who they control us, okay, and then they feed off of our children, and that's what all. So when you had like when Governor Norfolk or whatever, the Virginia guy, he was saying how babies could be aborted like at birth. Oh yeah, it's a whole deal. Anyway, so much shit fed into this QAnon thing that it makes you sit back and wonder. It's like, I'm gonna just see how it plays out.
Dude, I'm gonna dig into this. Now you got me curious. Like, there's
Kennedy's still alive, and he knows that the deep state tried to kill him. The deep state's the ones that killed JFK, and the deep state's killed Marilyn Monroe and all that shit. So he's still alive. There's pictures of this weird ass dude that they say is him. And anyways, he's feeding Trump information, and Trump really won the election, and they tried to assassinate him 25 times in the first 15 days of him being in office.
Dude, this is some crazy shit, man. This is definitely like down the rabbit hole kind of thing. Like, that's crazy.
I know, and it's like, so you're making such broad statements that just so happens that some of the shit sticks, because during all of this, fucking Epstein, Harvey Weinstein, Epstein. Who's all on Epstein's island? Well, fucking Bill Clinton. We know that.
Yeah, wasn't that like documented somehow?
Hell yeah, he's got flight logs.
And wow.
So, like, Tom Hanks, from what I read some things on the internet, said Tom Hanks was on it. Okay.
Because the internet's always real and 100% true.
Well, I also read shit that said it wasn't, but they were like both flight logs. It was supposed to be like the release of information. So you don't know. No, but you do know that Tom Hanks moves to Greece, where they don't fucking prosecute pedophiles.
What?
Because the Greek citizen, yeah. That motherfucker moved to Greece a few months ago. Like, hey, there's so much shit that feeds this conspiracy that it will make you nuts.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
But
It's kind of interesting though,
it
man. I
is.
love shit like this, dude. I dig right in.
It's amazing.
It's
Like, hey, if
yeah.
y'all got the time and y'all bored after you watch Bigfoot Stacy's productions on his YouTube, check out check out QAnon. Like, hey, the media has labeled it a right wing conspiracy, but at the same time, you know, why y'all trying to shoot it down so much? If it's not a big deal and it's just a right wing conspiracy, then fucking let it be. Because I didn't see y'all throwing a fit over the flat Earth, but
Right.
y'all get mad that everybody's talking about this QAnon shit. So why is that? We've had conspiracy theories all fucking day,
Right.
but one of them, y'all gonna the media like CNN's gonna start talking about it.
Dude, it's blowing up, man. Like
Yeah,
I'm legit getting messages about it, and they're like, "Will you talk about this?" I'm like, "Dude, I don't even know anything about this. I have no idea what you're talking about." And
QAnon.
why paranormal people start asking me about QAnon? I don't know. It's definitely gaining traction out there for sure.
It is, man. And that's the fun thing about it, because hey, like when all this Corona shit popped out, there was some QAnon stuff about that, and then I don't know. You have to watch videos. They go in depth to it. There was supposed to be some like 3-day blackout, and this is where all the pedophiles and Hillary Clinton and all these people will be finally charged for the crimes. It's a big ass right wing conspiracy, but fuck, it's fun.
Yeah, it is, man. It is
It is.
kind of like just fun to like listen to the left and right go back and forth. It's shit that's just entertaining.
Like, why you got to
But
get on one side? I mean, like
right, right.
because the thing I have friends that are both, and I just remain like whatever, you know. But I have friends that are both, and they'll get so much into it, and they're talking about how they're right and how they're right, and then I just tell them, I was like, those stupid asses you're talking about, they think they're right too, just like you do.
Oh yeah, everybody does. Yeah,
Like they get
and
it. They're not over here
that's why
thinking
you
they're wrong.
yeah, right. And everyone's like dead set that their ideas are right. They go to hell trying to like defend it, man. They're willing to like die for their thought. It's just crazy.
Well,
All of it's just crazy. They all just need to go bigfooting, smoke some of that tobacco blend shit,
hey,
and
it's great.
everything's going to be just fine. That's all they need to do.
Yeah, man, it's great, dude. But yeah, it's a strange time we live in,
It
you know.
is indeed.
So hey, before we get too far off topic, you just investigated a Bigfoot sighting, and I want the lowdown on that.
Actually, I've been checking out a few Bigfoot sightings. For whatever reason, this time up here in Maine, there's a lot of Bigfoot sightings. Uh, I don't know why, but people think that they migrate. They think that they migrate from like up in northern Maine all the way down to the coast. Uh, Basically, they think that in the wintertime they go from northern Maine, which is like the Arctic fucking tundra, dude. There's like it's for real crazy up there. People think that they move down through the specific channel down to the beach where like they can get food for the winter.
Right.
But you know, I don't know how I feel about all that, but the pattern is there. There is a pattern of these sightings at certain times of the year, and I don't know if that's actually what's going on. But again, every year this time, man, like people keep seeing this Bigfoot thing in the same places. I
Right.
don't get it, and I've been really checking it out, and then recently I went to a place where there was a sighting. Uh, Probably honestly say 100 yards away from where the sighting was. I found some hair, and I don't know what that hair was. I showed it to you, and I don't remember even what you said about it. What do you think it was?
I have no idea. It ain't nothing that was like, down here, but it almost seemed like it was like guard hair or so. I don't know. You know what I mean? It didn't seem like normal hair. It kind of seemed almost like a fur, or like maybe there was a soft spot, or something.
Yeah, it's almost like it would come from like the underarm or like somewhere where like you have smaller hair follicles.
Yeah.
But yeah, it definitely wasn't like a hair like we have. It was more fur-ish, but it wasn't like fur either. Like
Right.
it was weird, man. I don't know. I still have it. Like we could send it off to Dr. Todd or something if we really thought it was good enough. But at this point, I don't know what it is. It almost reminds me of bear, but it's too fine to be bear. Like bear has a really coarse hair.
I would think it would be something that people would like sell the hides. You know what I mean? Like a minx or something, some one of them cats, a lynx or something. Because it didn't seem coarse like bear hair that we have here. But like I said, I'm not from that area. I have no idea. And the problem with sending any sample off now is we can get unknown every single day of the week.
Yeah,
And
and
they
I
could
already
change
touched
it.
it, you know. Like I didn't collect it like I should have because I didn't have any faith it was like a real Bigfoot hair. So I touched it and shit. So like I don't even know if they could pull DNA off of it at this point.
Well, what they
But
do is they put it into a machine and it separates everything. So just swab your mouth and send you with it. You know, so
oh,
it's
so
like,
they would take
oh,
my
okay, this
DNA and your DNA because you touched it, and then they
anybody
could.
that touched it, you know, you would send that in with it. And but even if you get it to come back as, hey, we don't know what this is, it don't mean it's fucking Bigfoot because we ain't got the Bigfoot. We got to have the Bigfoot, and that's the problem. So that's why I've kind of just given up on testing things. There's no point in it.
No, I mean it's not going to come back Bigfoot because we don't have that Bigfoot to compare it to. Like
Right.
it's going to come back. It's going to come back just like all the other samples do. Like human and something else. You know, and I've heard of samples like that. Like I've never seen like actual like scientific document that says that, but you know I've definitely heard from a lot of people that they've had these inconclusive results, and I'm wondering if those are like legit because we don't have that Bigfoot to compare it to.
Well, on Bigfoot Bounty, our last sample we pulled out of a track. Um, we were told it was human, but it wasn't mine or David's, which was like, there wasn't nobody else out there, bro. We were in the middle of fucking nowhere. So that's what I was told, at least, you know, and we know how producers on TV shows are. Not the most trustworthy.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it depends on who you are, whether you can trust them or not. If you're talent, don't trust them. If you're working with them, it's cool. Like
Yeah.
it's fine.
That's the part. Everybody's like, "Oh, these guys are gonna do me so good. I'm talented." I'm like, bro,
No.
you about to get hung out and spanked a little bit, guys."
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just look at some of the shows that are on now, man. Like they must be like really messing with some of the talent. I hate to say which Expedition Bigfoot show I'm talking about,
Yeah.
but you know, like I can't imagine being on those shows anymore.
Yeah. You know, especially I don't know how they convey getting people to say things that aren't true. And
I
then,
do. Hell, they asked me to do it on friggin' Monsters Underground. I just
oh
did it.
no, I know how they do it.
They threaten you with a lawsuit.
Oh, see, I never got that. I never got that. Like, I completely bought into what the producers on Bigfoot Bounty did to me. Michael Merchant was complaining about me, and they went and told me. He wasn't complaining to my face. Like, if I complain about me all you want, you know, but then y'all took me to a bar and then told me. So like, you bought me drinks and then told me, hey, this man's been talking all this shit about you, you know, and then they play you.
Oh yeah,
Because
I would
what
have
did
done
I
it,
do? What did I
dude.
do? Fucking
I would have done it.
you know,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's
You'd
then
be
they will
stupid
play
not to
you.
get Stacy Brown drunk and point him after somebody, man, because you're gonna say something.
Yeah,
You know, it's
and that's what happened. And you know, at the end of the day, it was like, damn, you know, when you realize that that's what they did, that you got played like that. But I never said nothing that was a lie.
yeah, that's true.
I mean,
Yeah,
you don't have to do it. You know, if any of y'all get cast on the show, you don't have to say the things. And if you do, that's on you. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
I don't necessarily think they were hoaxing. I think they were more or less making an interesting TV show because they wanted a season two.
Yeah, I wish somebody would have told me that a long time ago, man. That you don't have to say anything you don't want to. Like
Yeah,
you,
hell no.
when you do this stuff, man, the camera's dead in your face, and they're like, "All right, I want you to say this." Well, you don't really have to say that. You don't have to. And God, I wish somebody would have told me that. But whatever,
Well,
it's
that's
over.
why I like our live stream shit, our paranormal journey stuff. That's why it's so much uh fun, because it's real.
Yeah,
I have to own everything I said there. Because I actually said it. It come out of my mouth and it come out of my brain. Somebody else didn't tell me to say them things. Anything I'm doing on camera, I got to own. You
yeah.
know, and it's really cool. I think that's how television's going to go.
I think so too, man. I think that what we're doing is basically going to be the blueprint for TV shows. I really do. I think that people are going to be doing this kind of live stream stuff, and I think networks are going to catch on that they can send it two fools out like you and I because we have all the skills to actually make TV shows,
Right.
and we're into the paranormal, we're into aliens, we're into all this shit. They're going to scoop us up, dude, and they're probably going to put us on TV and let us do what we're doing because with COVID, you can't pull a whole production team into a situation anymore. Like I'm working in production, and we've limited our crew down to pretty much nothing. And
Right.
you know, anytime I think a studio sees the ability of two guys like ourselves that we could pull off something as a host, and we have all these skills to make a film, I'm hoping that we'll get the opportunity to do what we do, but on a bigger level because I think it's entertaining as hell and it's real, and it's cool.
That's even though we have technical difficulties, which is part of it.
Right.
Like I'd love to say we'll never have one again. Right now, this is a prop because my shit ain't working. I had a technical difficulty right before this show started. I don't know what's going wrong with my audio, but this is a prop, guys. It ain't working. My mic's coming out of my computer. Uh, but you know, if we had an audience of 10,000 people, you know what I mean. You don't have to have, especially if they're paying like $1 or whatever, to so you can fund and do the things like go to Pompeii or where like you
Did you
talk.
see that post I put up?
I did, bro.
Dude.
I was like, wow, that
Oh,
was a killer ass idea.
yeah, man. Yeah.
Well, so speaking of the paranormal journey, where do you think we will end up next?
Oh,
Because we
man.
got we got to do another one, bro.
Yeah, so I think we have three options, and it'd be cool if like our people, our little tribe, would help us like make a decision. We have the opportunity to go hang with Susan Slaughter in wherever desert she lives in, and she's totally into magic, and she has friends that are into like the kind of shit that we're into, like pushing the limits, man. And we can go there in video this stuff. I don't know. It freaks me out a little bit, dude, to think about live feeding it because what if something happens on fucking live shit? Like
Well, what if you let something into somebody's house? That's why a lot of people that watch us, we ask them, "Hey, can we play this hymn from Crowley?" It fucking be no. There's a strong part that wants us to do it, and then there's a stronger part that doesn't want us to do it.
dude, I think the people who don't want us to do it are actually going to watch just to see what the hell happens because, like, I think they're just as curious as we are, but they're freaked out.
We should test their test them one day. Like, all right, turn it off then if that's what you want
Right?
to
They
do.
just hit mute. That's all
Yeah,
they're going to do. Yeah.
it that would be cool, man.
Yeah, yeah. And then we have the opportunity to, because we've been going down the road of this whole magic and Crowley and all that kind of good stuff. We have an opportunity to hang out with James Antino. Man, I can never say his name. And also Carl Johnson. And James is a deacon, and Carl is a demonologist that used to dabble in
A lot of things.
a lot of things. Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it. Like I didn't even know what thing to talk about, but like he's definitely dabbled into a lot of things. And we can go and do this same sort of thing and try to like conjure something with these two. And I think it would be really cool because Carl Johnson believes he can conjure something up, but then you have the deacon, James, he's able to like control it if it gets out of control. But honestly, between me and you, I don't really care about controlling shit. I just want to try to make something happen.
Yes,
So,
yes. I just want to make something happen. We'll worry
yeah,
about that when it gets here.
right. I've seen Zach do it on Ghost Adventures. He's fine. Like,
Right,
he gets possessed for 5 minutes. He shakes it off, dude. He just brushes it off. He's good. He's good.
He's like, I really want to punch you in the face right now. Talking to a woman.
Talking to Andrea. Yeah, Andrea Parrott.
He's like, I want to punch you in the face right now. I'm like, damn, cuz.
I think he'd lose that fight, man. I know Andrea, dude. I think she could take him.
Yeah, he looks a little soft in the pants.
Yeah. And Andrea, dude, Andrea's a badass. I wouldn't mess with her.
Right.
But yeah, we have those two opportunities, and then we can always go to your area. And there's all kinds of shit we hit up in your area. I was interested in hitting up like New Orleans, or even like maybe New Orleans through like Georgia and hit up, the Guidestones. Because you just sent me something recently about the Guidestones having like a blood stain on top of it or something, right?
Yeah, somebody flew a drone up over it. And there's a big ass blood stain on the top where it looks like somebody was sacrificed. You know what's cool is that there was a stone. One day it was there. The next day, there's a perfectly cut stone at the top of the Guidestones under a slab. They cut out a little part and took it. That bitch was gone for years, and then it showed back up.
What?
Yeah,
Why would they bring it back?
No idea. That whole thing, the Guidestones in general. Some guy rolled up there, paid for that bitch in cash money. His name was Mr. Christian. The county says they don't own it. The Mullenix Farm, they say they don't own it. Somebody's watching this shit. Like 500 people, elites, probably Jeffrey Epstein, showed up. They did a ceremony and they left and never been back. And that shit just sits there. And if you read it, it ain't good, cuz. It ain't good for the poor folks. All right, it ain't good for people like us because.
So what is it? So like basically, it's a giant stone that's supposed to tell the future or some shit, right?
It doesn't tell the future. It's the commandments for the future. So when whatever happens, whatever's going to happen, the future civilization will be able to read these commandments in every single known language on planet Earth. It is written in Swahili, fucking Egyptian. It's wrote in everything, all over it. And there's all these like sundials and like the way the sun lines up and the moon lines up with it and shit, dude. Like how they even built it and got that right, it was amazing. But there's so much more to it. You know what I mean? The blood stain on the top, and I could go on for there, but
Right.
I think we should save the South for the winter months because when it doesn't snow up your way, I don't care to do the snow.
Yeah, honestly, I'd kind of like to go hit up the desert. I think that would be really interesting. If I had my pick, I'd go hang out with Susan and us go and see if these people really have these magical powers out in the middle of the desert, dude. I think it would be dope. I think it would be just cool as shit, man.
Well, hey, if we're already out there for the Queen Mary,
there you go.
Just swing on over. So hey, there is a petition floating around, guys, and it's for Bill and Stacy to work the Queen Mary. Yeah. If you'll go in our group, Bill and Stacy's Paranormal Journey, please sign it. Please just take a second, sign it. I think we got like 100 signatures already.
And then do me a favor. Jay is going to kill me again, but send Jay Bloomkey a text and tell him you want Bill and Stacy to be on the Queen Mary. And do it, man. Seriously, the more people that text him and tell him this, the better chances we have actually making it on the show. So definitely do it up, man. Like send him a text and tell him I sent you.
Right on. Well, Bud, that's about it. I appreciate you coming on, man.
Yeah, dude, I enjoyed it, man, always.
So, anything you want to plug before we get out of here?
No, I mean, I think you just did it. Like, hit up Bill and Stacy's Paranormal Adventure. If you're not a friend of mine on Facebook, hit me up. I keep deleting people, so hopefully you can sneak in. But yeah, just follow me on Facebook and then follow Stacy and I on our Facebook page.
Right on. Well, bud, I will talk to you later. Have fun with your Boston Bruins if you get a
Yeah,
chance.
we'll do, brother.
So, take care, homie.
All right, later on, man.
Later, dude. All right, everybody. That is the first episode of Stranger in a Strange World with Stacy Brown. Got some really cool guests coming up. This show's not really going to have like a set date or time. I will promote each event. I got a guy coming up that is one of the most awesome, sad, I'll probably cry, survival experiences of all time. This dude was stuck on a cliff face with like 20 people and left to die. Got stuck on like one of the world's tallest mountains during an avalanche, and he lived. So he'll be coming up here in a few weeks. Once again, check me out at Bigfoot Stacy on YouTube and Bill and Stacy's Paranormal Journey. And that's about it, guys. So thank you all for hanging out. And until next time, peace.